From somebody who spent 10 years in prison and got out a few years ago, this is what it was like the day I got sentenced to 10 years in a Florida State female prison. Up until the day that I walked into the courthouse, after spending almost 2 full years, also one of those almost years pregnant with my first and only child, all that time incarcerated fighting the case, my attorney was telling me this whole time that I was most likely, at worst, going to get house arrest, but likely just a lot of probation, like an extensive probation period and some fees. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. That's what he told me. In my case and in all others, when you're fighting your case, you're just going back and forth every month to court, trying to come to some kind of agreement. And a lot of time, the attorneys from one side or the other will be like, oh, we're going to continue it to next month because we need to do a little more investigating or whatever. So I was going back every month for almost 2 years. And then on that fateful day, I didn't even know I was getting sentenced. My attorney was a paid attorney and he was supposedly very good. And he was almost 20 grand for this case, which was a lot, I believe. But yeah, so he was supposed to be good. And he didn't even tell me I was getting sentenced. I literally go to court that day, get on the little bus in the morning, drive over there, go into the holding cell. Y'all, while I'm in that holding cell, the attorney comes back there, my attorney, and says, hey, listen, there's a situation. And the situation is that we cannot come to an agreement and the state no longer wants to continue this case. So either you take what they offer today or basically we're going to trial. That's it. Those are the only options. So the first offer from the state was 10 years. Okay. That was my first offer. And I was like, absolutely not. My attorney was like, absolutely not. And so almost 2 years later, if he says that they're coming with an offer and this is it and we have to go to trial, if I don't accept it, I'm thinking it's going to be something different than 10. And of course, I'm thinking it's going to be lower than 10, right? Wrong. So in front of me, right back there in that cell, he hands me a piece of paper and it says 120 months in the Department of Corrections. I almost passed out. I was like, this is the same amount of time. Like, what? Like, I'm really about to faint right now. What is happening? I'm doing the math real quick. I'm like, 12 months in a year, add a zero, 10 years. Oh, fuck. Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, I thought you said that this wasn't going to happen, and at most I was going to get house arrest, and so, like, this is no different than the first offer 2 years ago. We could have resolved this 2 years ago. Like, what is going on? And at that point, he was like, listen, if you don't take this today, then basically we're going to trial. That's it, period, point blank. If we go to trial and lose, which we will lose because they have one piece of evidence that's really hardcore against me, then you're probably going to get upwards of 22 years. So you might want to take this. And he's been paid already, so he doesn't care. Like, he has no motive now to actually fight. He was sucked in the end, but I didn't know that in the beginning. So I'm looking at this paper and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm being bullied into accepting this. And this is what the state does a lot. So I don't sign. I end up getting called out. We walk out there. The judge explains everything. The state attorney's just looking at me with the stank side eye. And the judge is like, ma'am, this is the offer. Do you accept it? If not, we're going to put a trial date on the docket. And this is it. So I don't have a choice. I'm not going to risk going to prison for 22 plus years in hopes that, you know, maybe by some fluke I might get less time or I might get found not guilty when I know I'm not, because I am. So I have no choice but to accept it. And as I was in that courtroom, very begrudgingly saying, yes, I accept this plea under my own admission of everything, I accept it, I was pissed. My attorney did nothing for me, and it was the worst day ever. I signed, I went about my business. But the good news is, here I am, 10 years later. Thriving, doing well, loving life with my son. And it sucked, but I'm out and I'm good. So anyways, that's what happened. Love y'all. See you later.